My name is Aisha. I was born in a small town where almost everyone was a Muslim. My parents, my brothers, my sisters, my uncles, everyone followed the teachings of Islam. We prayed 5 times a day. We fasted during Ramadan. We went to the mosque every Friday. That was all I knew. That was the only life I had seen. My father was a very strict man. He didn't smile often, and he didn't play with us much. He always told us that life was about obeying Allah and following the Prophet. My mother was quiet. She never questioned anything. She cooked, she cleaned, and she made sure we all did our prayers on time. I was the 3rd child out of 6, and even as a young girl, I already knew that asking questions about religion was not allowed in our house. If you asked, you were being disrespectful. If you didn't follow, you were bringing shame. I remember one day in school, I heard some girls talking about Jesus. They said he was kind, that he loved people so much he died for them. I asked one of them quietly, "Who is Jesus?" She smiled and said, "He's the Son of God." I was shocked. I told my mother when I got home, and she was very angry. "Never talk to those people again," she said. "Jesus is not God's son. God has no son. Don't let them confuse you." I didn't understand why she was so angry, but from that day, I stopped asking questions. As I grew older, I became more serious with Islam. I wore the hijab. I read the Quran. I even joined some Islamic study groups. My parents were proud. They believed I would be a strong Muslim woman, maybe even marry a good imam one day. But inside my heart, something was always missing. I didn't feel close to God. I prayed, but I never felt peace. I fasted, but I never felt joy. I tried to force myself to believe that this was the only way, but deep down, I didn't feel connected. Sometimes when I was alone, I would think about what that girl in school said years ago. Jesus is the Son of God. Those words stayed with me like a small voice in the corner of my heart. But I pushed it away. I didn't want to dishonor my family. I didn't want to be the outcast. I didn't want to bring shame. My parents died in a car accident when I was 21. It was sudden. They were traveling to another town for a wedding, and their car lost control and hit a tree. They died on the spot. I cried for weeks. I felt lost without them. Even though we never talked about deep things, they were my parents. I loved them. After they died, I started praying more. I thought maybe I was not doing enough. Maybe if I prayed harder, God would comfort me. But no matter how much I prayed, I still felt empty. One day, I started watching videos online. I wanted to know more about life after death. I wanted to know where my parents were. I wanted to believe they were in peace. But one video I saw changed everything. It was a woman talking about how she saw hell and how Jesus saved her. I didn't believe it, but I couldn't stop watching. Something in her voice made me listen. Something in my heart told me not to ignore it. I started to wonder, what if Jesus really is the Savior? But I was scared. I was so scared. What would people say? What would my brothers do if they found out I was even thinking this way? So I kept it all inside. I smiled outside, but inside my heart was breaking. I started crying at night, begging God to show me the truth. "God," I said one night, "I don't know who you really are anymore. I just want to know you. I just want peace. Please show me the truth." I didn't know that God had already heard my prayer. I didn't know that my life was about to change forever. I didn't know that my journey was just beginning. That night, I slept with tears on my pillow, not knowing that in a few days I would die. But I wouldn't stay dead. After that night, when I cried out to God, something inside me started to change. I didn't understand what was happening, but I could feel it. It was like my heart had become soft. I was no longer comfortable doing the things I used to do. I was no longer satisfied with just praying without feeling anything. I started asking more questions silently in my heart. Every time I passed by a church, I felt something pull me. I didn't go inside. I couldn't. What if someone saw me? What if one of my brothers heard? But I kept watching those Christian videos secretly. I listened to people talk about Jesus and how he changed their lives. Some of them were even ex-Muslims like me. I cried listening to them. It was like they were telling my own story. One day, I decided to buy a Bible. I went far from my town to a place where nobody knew me. I told the man at the shop that I was buying it for a friend. He smiled and gave it to me. I hid it in my bag and went home. That night, when everyone was asleep, I opened the Bible and started reading. I didn't know where to start, so I just opened to the book of John. The first words I read were, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." I didn't understand everything, but the words felt alive. As I read more, I got to the part where it said, "The Word became flesh and dwelt among us." I stopped. Something in me jumped. Could it be? Could Jesus be the Word? Could he really be God? My hands started shaking. My heart was beating fast. I didn't know what to do. I closed the Bible quickly and hid it under my mattress. I was afraid. So afraid. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. The next few days, I felt like I was in two worlds. One world was the life I had always known. The prayers, the Quran, the rules, the silence. The other world was something new. Jesus, love, peace, truth. I was stuck in the middle, confused. I didn't tell anyone what I was going through. I didn't have any Christian friends I could trust. I kept everything to myself. But inside, the battle was growing. Then, something strange began to happen to my body. I started feeling weak. At first, I thought it was just stress. I was not eating well. I wasn't sleeping. Maybe it was because I was crying every night. But the weakness got worse. My legs felt heavy. My hands would shake. I would forget things. Sometimes I would just stare into space, not knowing what I was doing. I went to the hospital. They ran some tests, but they said nothing was wrong. "Maybe it's all in your head," the doctor said. But I knew it wasn't in my head. One night, I fell down in the bathroom. My head hit the wall. I couldn't move. I couldn't even cry out. I felt like the life was going out of me slowly. I was all alone. I remember whispering, "God, please help me. Please don't let me die like this." But then everything went dark. I saw nothing. I heard nothing. I felt nothing. It was like the world disappeared. And just like that, I died. But that was not the end. It was the beginning of something I can never forget. Something that would change my life forever. When I opened my eyes, I was no longer in my room. I was no longer in my body. I didn't know where I was. Everything around me was dark. Very dark. But I could still see. It was a strange kind of darkness. A heavy darkness. A painful darkness. Then I heard the sound. Screaming. Crying. Wailing. It was like nothing I had ever heard before. It was not just one person, it was millions. The sound shook me. It made my bones feel weak, even though I was not in my body. It was the sound of pain, of fear, of sorrow. I tried to cover my ears, but I had no hands. Suddenly, I felt like I was falling. Falling deep into a place I didn't know. The deeper I went, the hotter it became. I looked around and saw fire, fire everywhere. But it was not a fire that burned things to ashes. It was a fire that kept people alive in pain. The fire moved like it was alive. It touched, it wrapped, it tormented. I saw people. Men, women, even some who looked like teenagers. They were all burning, screaming, crying for help. Some were shouting, "Please forgive me, Lord." Others were begging, "Give me one more chance." I was frozen. I was in hell. I didn't believe it at first. I thought maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was something else. But the pain, the fear, it was real. Too real. I wanted to run, but there was no place to run to. I wanted to hide, but there was no hiding place. Every sound, every scream, was pressing down on me. My soul was shaking. Then I saw them. Two people standing far away, but I knew them at once. It was my parents. My father and mother. They were not like how I remembered them. They were in pain. Fire was all over them. My father was holding his head, crying, "Why didn't I listen? Why didn't I search for the truth?" My mother was screaming, "My children! My children! We taught them lies." I screamed out, "Mama! Baba!" They turned and looked at me. Their eyes were full of sorrow and fire. My mother started crying harder. She called my name, Aisha. "Aisha, you are still alive. Please, go back. Go back and tell them the truth." My father shouted, "Tell everyone. Tell them that Jesus is the only way. We were wrong. We were blind. He is the Savior." I was shaking. I didn't understand. "You knew the truth?" I asked them. They cried louder. "We heard the truth many times," my mother said. "But we rejected it. We were proud. We didn't want to lose our religion. Now it's too late for us." Then my father said something that broke me. "You still have a chance. Don't be like us. Go back. Tell the world. Warn them. Jesus is real. Hell is real. Time is short." I started crying. "Please," I begged, "come with me. Let's go together. Let's leave this place." They shook their heads. "We cannot leave," my mother said. "Once you enter here, there's no going back." Then suddenly, a bright light shone behind me. The light was so bright that hell itself began to shake. The demons screamed and ran. The fire pulled back. The cries stopped for a moment. The light felt like love. It felt like peace. It felt like truth. Then I heard a voice. A voice so calm, so strong, yet full of mercy. "Aisha, I have heard your cry. I am Jesus. I am the one you've been searching for. You still have time. Go back and tell them. Tell them I love them. Tell them I died for them. Tell them I am the only way." Tears ran down my face. I had found the truth. In the middle of hell, I met Jesus. And just like that, I woke up. I was on the hospital bed. Doctors were around me. Nurses were shouting. Machines were beeping. But I didn't care. I was alive. And I knew why. I had a mission. I had to tell the world what I saw. I had to tell them the truth my parents never told me. Jesus is real. Hell is real. And time is short. When I came back to life, the doctors were shocked. One of them kept saying, "We lost her. She was gone." But I was not listening to them. My ears were full of another voice, the voice of Jesus. His words were still ringing in my heart, "Go back and tell them. I am the only way." From that moment, I knew I could not be quiet. I had seen hell with my own eyes. I had seen my parents burning, crying, regretting. I had met Jesus in that dark place. How could I keep silent? When I was strong enough to sit, I asked one of the nurses, "Do you know Jesus?" She looked surprised. She said, "Yes, I do." I grabbed her hand and cried, "Please, don't stop following him. He is the only way." I saw him. I saw hell. It's real. She sat beside me, and I told her everything I saw. She also began to cry. She prayed with me, and that night, in that hospital bed, I gave my life to Jesus fully. I didn't care anymore what people would say. I didn't care if my family would reject me. I just wanted to serve the one who saved me. The one who gave me another chance. When I was discharged from the hospital, I went home. My brothers were happy to see me alive. But I was no longer the same. I told them what happened to me. At first, they thought I had lost my mind. They shouted at me. One of them even slapped me. "How can you say our parents are in hell? How can you say Jesus is the Son of God?" they asked. I said, "Because I saw it. I was there. I died and came back. And I will keep speaking, even if no one listens." They told me to keep quiet. They said I was bringing shame to the family. But I refused. I packed my few things and left that house. I had no money. No place to stay. But I had Jesus. And He became everything to me. I started going to church. I told my story to anyone who would listen. Some people mocked me. Some laughed. But some believed. Some gave their lives to Jesus right there. One young lady said, "I was born a Muslim too. But after hearing your story, I want to know this Jesus." Everywhere I went, I shared my testimony, in buses, in markets, in churches, even on the street. I cried as I spoke. I begged people, don't wait until it's too late. Don't be like my parents. They were good people, but they didn't believe in Jesus. Now they are suffering. Some days were hard. I had no food. No help. But each time I cried, I felt Jesus close to me. He always found a way to take care of me. He gave me strength. He gave me boldness. He gave me peace. The peace I never found in all my years of prayer as a Muslim, I found it in Him. Now, I am still speaking. I am still sharing. This voice will not be silent. I know the world is full of many religions, many beliefs, many teachings. But I saw the truth. I saw what lies at the end of a life without Christ. And so I say to anyone reading this, Jesus is real. Hell is real. Heaven is real. Please don't ignore this. Please don't wait. Please don't gamble with your soul. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your parents taught you. It doesn't matter what religion you were born into. What matters is this: do you know Jesus? Have you accepted Him as your Lord and Savior? He is not a prophet only. He is not one of many ways. He is the only way. He said it Himself. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14 verse 6. Don't wait for death to teach you this truth. Learn it now. Accept it now. Believe it now. My dear brothers and sisters, if you have listened to my story from the beginning until now, then I believe God allowed you to hear it for a reason. I didn't come back from that place of torment to entertain people. I didn't come back to argue about religion. I came back with one message: Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. I know what it means to be born in a religion that teaches something else. I know what it means to love your parents, to trust their words, to follow their footsteps. I did the same. I prayed the way they prayed. I fasted the way they fasted. I obeyed every rule. But I was still empty. I was still unsure of where I would go after death. The day I died, I saw the truth with my own eyes. It was too painful. It was too heavy. I never imagined I would see my mother and father in hell. But that was what happened. Good people. Honest people. Religious people. But without Jesus. Now I understand why Jesus came to this world. I understand why He suffered. I understand why He died on that cross. It was for us. It was because He is the only bridge between man and God. There is no other name under heaven by which we can be saved. You may ask, but what about my religion? What about my family? My answer is this: will they be with you when you stand before God? In the end, your soul will face eternity alone. You will not be judged by your family name, your culture, or your religion. You will be judged by one thing: did you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? This is not a joke. This is not about changing religion. This is about saving your soul from eternal fire. Jesus did not die for Christians alone. He died for the whole world. He died for Muslims. He died for Hindus. He died for atheists. He died for everyone, because everyone needs salvation. My dear friend, please don't wait until it's too late. Hell is not a story. Hell is not a symbol. Hell is a real place, full of real people who wish they had one more chance. But they can't come back. Only a few are given mercy like me, to come back and warn others. Today, as you hear my voice through this story, this is your chance. This is your mercy. This is your wake-up call. Give your life to Jesus. Accept Him today. Let Him be the Lord of your life. He will forgive you, cleanse you, and give you peace that no one else can give. And if you are already a believer in Jesus, don't keep quiet. Time is short. Speak to your friends, your neighbors, your family. Share the truth. Share the gospel. This world is dying fast. Souls are being lost every day. Be a voice. Be a light. Be bold. Remember what Jesus said in Matthew 10 verses 32 to 33. Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever disowns me before others, I will disown before my Father in heaven. Choose life. Choose truth. Choose Jesus. I am Aisha. I was a Muslim. I saw hell. I met Jesus. Now, I am His. And I will never be silent again. If my testimony has blessed you, please kindly like this video, share it with your loved ones, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more testimonies of other people who has gone to the other side and came back with a message that may bless your life.